is Mackenzie and this is Mac in Action. Today's video is going to be my February reset video. We are going to be resetting my calendar, cleaning the house, as well as looking back on January, my highs and lows, looking forward to February. We are also going to be talking about goals. Let's start with my highs and lows from January. So my highs, one was that I put out a January reset video. That is part of one of my goals for 2024 is to post a monthly reset video every month. And I started off strong with a January reset video, even though I posted it later in the month. I was just happy that I got it done in January and got it edited and posted in January, and I really enjoyed it. Another really exciting thing that happened in January was Robbie and I actually bought a new car. It is a 2024 Honda Civic Sport, and we really like it so far, and I was just so thankful that when we got it, the car was at the mechanic shop, our old car, and basically they said unless you get this and this done, your car is not drivable. And we decided with how much that was going to cost, and we had been saving up for a new car anyways, it was just time to bite the bullet and get a new car, and we really like it. Another highlight of January was that I paid off another one of my student loans, and I am so happy because it was one of mine that had a higher interest rate, over 7%. So I'm slowly chipping away at getting those paid off, and I was really happy that I got to pay off another one of those loans. Another thing that has happened in January quite a few times was that we got to spend time with more people that are a part of our church family. So we got to go over to a couple's house and play games with them and their kids, and we also had another couple from church that came over to our house and we had dinner together, and it's just been such a blessing to get to know these people who are a part of our church and our life group, and to get to know them better, fellowship with them. That has been really awesome. And one thing that I wanted to add was when we went over to another couple's house, we asked them like, what advice would you have for young married people? And one of the pieces of advice that the wife gave us was to spend time with people who are in the season ahead of you. And I just thought that was really wise. They said that they learned a lot about like what they wanted their parenting style to be by being discipled by and just spending time with people that were in the season ahead of them. When they didn't have kids, they spent time with people who did have kids. It goes on and on throughout your whole life. So even after you already have kids, maybe you want to spend time with people who have aging parents because you're going to be in that season next in your life. And I just thought that was really wise. Another super fun thing that happened in January was I got to be a part of a book swap with some ladies from my church. It was a lot of fun. We all brought one of our favorite books, and then based on when our birthdays were, we all got to pick which one of the books that we wanted to read. So we all swapped around, so everyone's reading a different book, and it was really fun because everybody has different styles, different tastes in genres, and we all got to pick something new that we maybe wouldn't have chosen to read before. I am reading Quiet by Susan Cain, and it's actually a book that I've heard of before. I've watched her TED Talk. It is so good, and I've always wanted to read that book, so I was so happy to get my hands on it. And the book that I brought to the book swap was Delighting in the Trinity by Michael Reeves, which is just so good. Also, speaking of books, I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but another highlight of January was that I read a lot of books. So that was just fun. I don't always have a ton of time to read, but with it being the new year, I've been making a lot of time to read, and so just finishing books is just a highlight for me. Probably one of my favorite parts of January so far is that Robbie and I started being more consistent and intentional with our family worship. So kind of how we format it is in the morning after breakfast, we just read a chapter or half a chapter of Genesis. We talk about it and then we pray together, and then in the evening, right after we finish dinner, we read a chapter of Matthew, talk about it, pray, and then we also sing a hymn or a song. That has just been such a huge blessing just to start that even with our family of two. Now on to lows of January. So January honestly has been a great month, but just a couple of lows would be at the very beginning of the month. I got a foot injury on the outside of my foot, and I was so bummed because I was trying to do 2 miles a day for my 500 miles resolution that I have this year. And I was just so bummed because I got pretty far behind. I think I'm about 23 miles behind so far, just because I could not do anything. I could barely stand on it at work. So that was really hard, but thankfully it's all better now. Another low was Robbie and I were looking at a house to rent starting this summer, and that just fell through because we weren't able to afford it, but pretty at peace with it right now. It just wasn't meant to be, but I think I was pretty excited for it, so it was a little bit of a letdown. Another thing was I still am not sure what's going on with me health-wise. It could possibly be PCOS, but I have to talk to a few other doctors before I can actually get a diagnosis, so that's been frustrating. But overall, January's been a really good month, and I'm super thankful for it. Now looking forward to February, some things that are coming up that I'm excited for. I'm so excited to have a fun Valentine's Day with Robbie, and this is going to be our first Valentine's Day together as a married couple. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to go to Black Rock, which is a restaurant around here that I have not been to before, and I've heard it's really good, and we're just gonna splurge a little bit on that. And I'm excited that we might be getting 2-player Catan for ourselves for Valentine's Day so we can play. Another thing I'm super excited for is Galentine's Day. This year I am not hosting a Galentine's Day party, which is so sad because I've hosted one every single year since my junior year of high school, but I think just with busyness and schedules, it has honestly been a true blessing to have other friends who love to host. Another thing I'm excited for in February is my February reset and the goals. So I'm hoping to get this up around the beginning of February. I'm excited for my February goals. I've been planning them out probably since mid-January because I'm pretty excited. Last couple of things I'm looking forward to in February are more time with people in our church family, just because of how good that has been this month. I'm excited to just intentionally keep spending time with them more and more in February. And the last thing is I am doing a book study at church, and it has been so good, and I'm excited because the majority of our lessons are going to be in February. I love the study so far, and starting in February we're going to be talking about some goal setting things, and that's one of my favorite things to talk about, so I'm very excited for that. Alright guys, so here's the vlog part of the reset day in my life. Reset days are not always perfect. Sometimes I have to reset within a few days. It takes me a reset week. Sometimes it's just little by little, but when I base it on the month, getting ready to start, even doing that little, it helps. So I'll show you what we're doing this morning for this vlog. So I set the table, and Robbie's in the kitchen making our breakfast. I'm gonna try some tahini on my eggs this morning, just because we ran out of some of the other stuff we normally put on our eggs. I made us stir fry for lunch since we're trying to clean out / shop our pantry before we go grocery shopping in February. So basically we had 1 bag of mixed veggies. I had some frozen green peppers, and we had some onions left over. So we cut up the onions, and then we sauteed all of the vegetables that I just named. Then we have a big bag of rice from Sam's Club. So Robbie made the rice. And then I just added soy sauce, honey, a little bit of garlic, and some eggs. And here we have a super easy meal made of only things that we already own. All right, now we are going to talk about my January goals to see if I met them, and then we will talk about my February goals. So my January goals, number 1 was to set a morning and evening walking routine. And in order to do that, another little side goal I had was to wake up before 6 a.m. every day. And I will say, check, I got that one. I've been waking up at the absolute latest 6, but that has only happened, I think, a total of 3 times all month. I usually am able to get a mile in the morning if I actually get up in time. Now, if I get up at 5:45, I've just decided, you know what, I'm going to spend more time reading this morning, spending time with the Lord, and I think that's more important than walking anyways, but I would say that I have set a good routine of doing that. In the afternoon/evening when I get home from work, Robbie and I go work out, and that's when I get my other mile in for walking. Number 2 was to start 75 soft, and Robbie and I did start it, and we've been doing a really good job. And honestly, since we did what I call 75 fluid, 75 soft has not been that difficult, just because I think we have pretty much most of those habits already routinely into our day. We are on day 28 right now of 75. Number 3 was to schedule a doctor's appointment to talk about PCOS, and I did schedule an appointment with my gynecologist. However, I'm probably going to keep that appointment, but I was thinking about scheduling an appointment with a different gynecologist that a lot of the teachers at my school recommend. Number 4 was to start my 1 John study and finish chapter 1, and I did that. I am now on chapter 2, verse 3. And the reason I say which verse I'm on is because I'm doing a verse-by-verse study of 1 John. So I'm already into chapter 2, and I'm loving it. Number 5 was to finish Gone with the Wind, and praise God, I finished that dumb book. Here it is. We got it done. And honestly, well, I'll talk about it in the book section. Number 6 was to post a January reset video on YouTube, and as you guys saw, I did post that video. I will link it below in case you want to catch up and kind of know some of the stuff I'm talking about in my reset video about my 2024 goals. And then the last one, number 7, was to put the house to bed every night, and I'm still glad I set this goal. I'd say we did it pretty much. I'd check it off. But did we absolutely do exactly what I thought we would do every night? No. But I think by having an alarm that reminded me to put the house to bed, it helped me put in perspective, does it matter if there's something a little bit wrong with my house? No. I literally just want to go to bed, but it did help me maybe get my coffee ready for the next morning, maybe pick up a few things off the floor. It still helped in that way, even if it wasn't to the caliber that I wanted it to be, oh, we have all the dishes done, all the dishes put away, every counter wiped down. I literally don't care if there are crumbs on the counter, because I know I will wipe them up, even if it's not that night. So I would say check on that one. Now we are going to start February goals, and I do want to journal these. So for my February goals, I also watched another YouTube video about how it's helpful to label a goal as a project or a habit. And one thing I've noticed is a lot of my goals tend to be habits. So they're habits, they're routines, they're in a routine, they're things you do every day. However, project goals are things that's, if you would just do it one, it'd be done. So for example, in my January one, scheduling a doctor's appointment, that's a project goal, because I just had to do that. I just had to sit down and do that one day, and it was done. Now, projects can last longer, but that's just an example of what a project goal should be. So while we're going through these, I'll let you know if they're a project goal or a habit goal. So my first goal is to shop my pantry and save money on groceries with meal prepping. And I'm also going to try this new thing where we shop for the majority bulk of our groceries one time a month, and then we just pick up produce each week that we need to. So I'm going to see how that is. I would say that that is a project and a habit goal, because it's a project to, like, it's something I have to do, but I want it to become a habit to where I do that every month if it works for us. My second goal for February is to catch up on my 500 miles that I lost with my foot injury. So this is going to be a habit goal. I calculated how many miles I need to do each day to catch up, and it's 2.7. So it was 2, now it's 2.7, and I don't know how attainable this goal is, but I really want to get caught up. So I'm going to try my best to do that in February. Another one of my goals is to read 4 books in February. And when we get to the book section, you'll see that in January that was pretty easy. But if I want to get to my goal that I have for 2024 for books, which is 40 books, I will need to read 4 books a month. So I want to keep that going in February. My fourth goal is to do decluttering and reset reels, just so that I can practice that creative outlet of making videos more. My goal is to post a decluttering or reset video 4 times in February, and this is a project goal. The next one is a project goal, which is to plan my sister's bachelorette party and her bridal shower. This is a project goal, and it's something that I'm going to have to talk a little bit more with her about and some other people who are helping with, to figure out what exactly we're doing for those things. My next one is a project goal as well, which is to submit my RESA for teaching. So if you don't know what RESA is, it's our resident educator project that we have to do so that we can apply for our 5-year license. I worked on it yesterday, actually. I only have like one more section to fill out, and it's just looking at the video and adding evidence, and then I can submit it. So I'm hoping maybe I'll even get it submitted before January is over. I don't know, but hopefully by the end of February at the very least, I want to have that submitted. My next goal is to finish the Chronicles of Narnia series. I have one more book left, and it's The Last Battle, and I really think this is an attainable goal for me for February. And my last one is to memorize 1 John 1:5-8, and this, I just keep getting stuck on the, like, I have a few pages that I've written it out on, and I just keep getting stuck. My camera stopped, so hopefully this is not blurry, but I also wanted to go over my 2 budgeting goals. One of them has to do with the first goal that I told you for February for me, and that is to lower our grocery bill. And that's one way that I really want to steward my money well, with the groceries, because that's the part of the budget and homemaking that I try to take up as like my duty. So I want to do better at that. My second budgeting goal is I want to save up enough money for the weddings that I'm going to be in this summer. My sister Macy's getting married, and so is my best friend Kylie, and I'm so excited for them. But we all know weddings cost money. I had a wedding last year. I know it costs people money to be in it and go on the trips, all the things. So for that, I just want to make sure that I have enough money for my dresses, for bachelorette party. One of them is going to be a trip. The other one I'll probably just have to buy like some food for or something. But I also want to be able to buy them gifts for their bridal showers, gifts for their wedding, things like that. So I want to save up that money for those things, so I'm not dipping into savings for those weddings that I'll be in. All right, this is called Content Corner, and I got this idea from another YouTuber I watch, Hannah Ashton. I'll link her below just because I love her videos and you should watch her videos. Basically, she calls this section of her reset videos Content Corner, and I really love that. So I'm going to be doing a Content Corner too, and the first thing that we are going to start out with are books that I read in January. I have read 9 books in January, which I'm so happy about. I was worried I was going to be struggling to get 4 books. So I have read 9 books in January, and I'm going to tell you what they were. I'm going to tell you how many stars I gave them on Goodreads. I will link my Goodreads down below if you want to follow me on there and just have a more up-to-date version of what I am reading and finishing. But the first book that I read in January was Holier Than Thou by Jackie Hill Perry. And I gave this book 5 stars. It is extremely good, just like anything Jackie Hill Perry does. But the main thing that I got from this book was she kind of had like 3 B's, where you behold Christ, believe Christ, and you become like Christ. And I really love that. She is a poet, spoken word artist, rapper. So sometimes when I was reading this, I felt like I had to say what she was saying, what she wrote out loud to be able to comprehend it, just because she's so intricate and poetic with her words. So that was kind of hard for me. Like sometimes I'd read it and I'd be like, wait. But anyways, I give this book 5 stars on my Goodreads account and I highly recommend it. The next book that I read that I finished was Gone with the Wind. And guys, I hate this book. I think I gave it 1 star just because right at the end it started getting slightly better, but then the ending was like a total flop, not what I wanted it to be. I was kind of getting excited for what I thought the ending was going to be, but no. And guys, this is the book. The only reason I read it was because I put it on my freshman year of high school bucket list to read Gone with the Wind. It's just bad. It's taken me almost 3 years, like 2.5 years to read this book. I started it in the summer of 2022. Guys, maybe it's like a year and a half. Either way, not good. But I gave it 1 star because towards the end it started getting kind of interesting, but the ending, terrible. The next book that I read, it is a 9 marks book about how the local church goes global. And I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but it was very good. I gave it 5 stars. After that, the next book that I finished was Heaven is a World of Love by Jonathan Edwards. Robbie got this for me for Christmas. It's a really short read, but I give it 5 stars. It's only 115 pages. I highly recommend this book. It has a good theology about heaven, but more importantly, like who's in heaven. The next book that I read, and I just finished this a few days ago, is The Chronicles of Narnia, book number 6, The Silver Chair. And I actually really like this one. I also give it 5 stars. It's one of my favorites in the series. I think I like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe the best. Voyage of the Dawn Treader was really good, but I think this one might be my 3rd favorite out of this series. I really like it. I wanted to keep reading it. Like I would try to read only 1 chapter a night, but I'd usually read 2 a night. It was really good. Within those 9 books, as you can see, I didn't show you 9 books, but I also listened to some audiobooks. So I will pop them, what they look like right here or right here to show you. But the first one I read, which was the first book I finished in 2024, is To Live is Christ, to Die is Gain. That is by Matt Chandler. I give it 4 stars. So sometimes it was a little choppy, but overall I think like his thesis was good. Sometimes I would get a little bored when I was listening to it, so I only give it 4 stars, but overall it was pretty good. The next audiobook that I listened to and finished was C.H. Spurgeon's Autobiography, Volume 2, called The Full Harvest. I listened to his first one a few years ago, and I would say I enjoyed the first one a lot more. This one was just very long. It was like 19 plus hours. It's just very long. Sometimes I get a little bored listening to it, but he did have some really good things in it. So I gave that one 3 stars. The next audiobook I read, I gave it 5 stars. Absolutely, was The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I have not seen the TV show, so comment below if you've seen the TV show on Amazon Prime and you think I should watch it. Comment down below. But I listened to the audiobook and I just did not want to stop. One night, like when we were going to bed, I always listen to audiobooks like when I'm doing something, but when we were going to bed, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just lay here and listen to The Summer I Turned Pretty and finish it because it's so good. And I just really enjoyed it. I enjoy like any like teeny bopper romance type books, young adult, love books like that, and I'm excited to read the rest of the series. The next audiobook and the last audiobook that I listened to in January was called Family Worship by Joel R. Beeke, I think is how you pronounce his last name. And that book's a super short listen, and I gave it 5 stars. It's extremely good, and Robbie actually recommended this to me. This book helped him plan and structure how we do our family worship in our house, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm probably going to listen to it again. Now I'm going to show you what I am currently reading for the start of February. The book I'm listening to is called Joy for the World by Greg Forster. It says how Christianity lost its cultural influence and can begin rebuilding it. I'm reading another one of the 9 Marks books, and this one is called Church Elders, How to Shepherd God's People Like Jesus by Jeremy Ryn. And I really like this so far. Obviously, I'm not pursuing being a church elder, but I don't think that's a reason why I shouldn't be able to read this book, because my church has elders and I want to be active in affirming them if they should be and not affirming them if they shouldn't be. So I've liked this book a lot so far. And then I already told you my fiction book that I'm reading is Last Battle by C.S. Lewis, which is part of the Chronicles of Narnia series, and it is the last book, book 7, and I'm really excited to get into this. I have no idea what it's about because I haven't started it yet. So very excited for that. And then the book that I'm reading for my book swap, which I already talked to you about, but I'm going to show you. It is called Quiet by Susan Cain, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. I'm on chapter 10. I have about that much left. And then with my quiet time and for my book study at church, I'm reading Heart for Home by Kim Magnus, and this is not actually a published book yet, but I love it so far, and I'm excited for the author to get this book published because it is going to be a great resource for women in like so many churches. Like, it is so good. I highly recommend this. The last 2 are books, so I'll add them in, but I'm probably not going to finish them for a very long time. These I read along with my verse-by-verse study of 1 John. So this one is called The Letters of John, 2nd edition by Colin G. Kruse, and it's a commentary on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. And then this one is The Christ-Centered Exposition, Exalting Jesus in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John by Daniel L. Aiken. And I'm really enjoying both of those. To continue with the content corner, I would include podcasts, but lately I have not been listening to podcasts. For music, some music that I've been enjoying, the first one would be Forrest. He came out with a new song called Good Day. The other album that I've been listening to is His Story, the musical, and I was a little apprehensive to listen to this, but I'm so glad that I did. If you don't know, it goes through kind of like the gospel view of Jesus's life from his birth to his death, and it has songs by like the leper who Jesus healed. It has songs from the perspective of Matthew, songs from the perspective of Peter. I thought it was really good, like honestly just good throughout. There was like a few songs that I was like, that's kind of a creative liberty. The one that's like Judas's perspective, don't really like that one. But overall, I would love to see the musical. Really love the music, and it keeps getting stuck in my head too, so I really like it. TV shows that I've been watching, I don't really have much to report because I haven't been really watching that much TV, but if I do watch TV, I'll watch Gilmore Girls because I've never actually watched the whole thing. And also, if I like just need something to watch, I'll watch Sweet Life on Deck because I've just been going through all the old Disney shows that I used to watch. For movies, actually last night, Robbie and I watched the live action Beauty and the Beast on Disney Plus, and I love that show. That's like a feel-good movie for me, but Robbie had never seen it, and I love that movie so much, and the song Evermore literally has a chokehold on me. It is so beautiful. But anyways, for new movies this month for date night, we actually went to the movies, which we don't do very often, but I actually love going to the movies, so we need to do that more. But we went and saw Wonka, and I personally did not love it. Parts of it kind of like creeped me out, but I feel like it like needs to because it's Wonka, you know? I think Timothée Chalamet did really good. The singing, the songs were really good and catchy. I liked that. But there was just like aspects of it that just like really like weirded me out. Robbie actually really liked the movie. He thought it was just like a good, fun movie and funny. So I think it was worth going to see. All right, I have both of my calendars sitting here, our acrylic calendar and my paper calendar. I'm going to clean the acrylic calendar and fill it in with whatever's on my paper calendar. Hello everybody, so I just meal planned everything and kind of had a little brainstorming session right here of what we're gonna make, and I ran everything over with my husband.
That's me.
Because we're a team. And I also made the list and I split it up into Sam's Club, Aldi, and Walmart. So this is what's on the docket for meals for the whole month. So we're going to try our best to not make things besides these things right here. And I picked 6 different meals, so it's like I'm pretty sure that's gotta last us the whole month. We have a backup 7 of like pantry stuff. So, and that's just the dinner. So for breakfast, we're gonna have what we always have for breakfast, eggs and toast with a lot of veggies mixed in. For lunches, we're gonna do Caesar salad with rotisserie chicken for as long as it lasts us. And the salad packets that we buy, we usually have a ton of extra like of the toppings left, like the dressing and the Parmesan cheese. So if we run out of that, we have 2 options. We're either just gonna buy lettuce and just make our own salads with the extra ingredient toppings that we have, or we're gonna do like adult Lunchables with ham and cheese, just sliced meat and cheese in our lunches, because they'll be left over from a dinner that we're making. For the sides for our lunches, we're gonna have either yogurt or cottage cheese and then a fruit. And we're each picking 1 fruit that we get for the month or for however long it lasts us. Then for dinner, so this was like the big part, and this is the part that I think I end up wanting to overspend on because I love making new recipes. That's really hard for me, so I shopped our pantry, and these are the things that we can make and buy with having to only buy limited ingredients. The first one we're gonna make, because we already have limes, is gonna be lime chicken with rice, beans, and corn.
It's really good.
And we already have the rice, beans, and corn. We just need chicken. Then the next one we're gonna do is hamburgers, because we have a ton of frozen patties and sweet potato fries. And that just the sweet potato fries part sounds so delicious to me. And all we need to buy for that are the sweet potatoes and the buns. The third one is gonna be chicken parm with broccoli, just because I'm craving that. And we have a ton of pasta that we can use. These are some that we're gonna hopefully use later in the month. Dijon chicken with Brussels sprouts, stir fry with mixed veggies. Last one is our little splurge meal that we've been craving, want to make, and that is our ham and cheese sliders, and we're probably going to pair that with broccoli. I wrote a list of produce that we're only allowed to go buy if we are either out of one of these. That is the meal plan, and I'm going to write it on our little thing up here. Hi guys, so it's been a great reset day because I just did an interval running and walking. It was a little bit of incline walking for 45 minutes straight, and I did 3 miles, and I'm really proud of myself because I don't know if that's Probably not that great, but I feel great, and I haven't gone for that long in a really long time, so I'm feeling awesome. Robbie and I are having a date night tonight, but I don't normally sweat this much in the gym, so I'm gonna go change, and then we're going to go to our date night.
Meanwhile, across town in this less than fashionable cubbyhole at the San Francisco exam.